meal. So mosquitoes are attracted to us that way. Fleas, anything that feeds on blood. So our breath is one. Body odor is another. That's smelling armpits. That's the worst job in the world right there. And so it's body odor, it's CO2, and it's heat. Heat is the other one. So it's our body heat. So all those things that mean there's something warm that has blood in it that I can feed on. Also, they randomly move until they get some food. So up here you can see this is a typical, like say, hotel room, and this could be a house too. Okay? If you see here, the primary harborage, 70% of it's right around the bed. You got your bed, your headboard, a dresser. But 5 feet out of that's 23% of the harborage. So where you'll get some females that'll come out here into different places. Any place in a structure is a harborage point for a bed bug. Anyone. Behind a paint chip. Inside of an alarm clock, a computer, up in the ceiling, in the little hiding spot in the popcorn ceiling, behind one of those little pieces of popcorn up there. Any of those places they can go hide. They're very small. And then you have 7% can be even further out. So how does sanitation relate to it? Okay? Bed bugs are not caused by poor sanitation. But poor sanitation makes it very difficult to control bed bugs. Bed bugs are no respecters of persons. They're hitchhikers. That's how they get in somewhere. That's how people get infested. They hitchhike onto a bag, or you bring a bag in that has eggs on it. They don't live on our bodies. They'll be on an article of clothing that was infested that we picked up and put on, or on a bag or something of that, and then they're brought into a structure. It's the only way they get. And so, as I said, they have to be introduced that way. So, take a look at this. This is an apartment that had bed bugs that needed to be treated. Remember how small that egg was on top of a penny? Okay, how many of you think it'd be possible to find all those eggs in that place? It's impossible. It's completely impossible. So it's very difficult. This is one of the things that's really hard because we know how traumatic dealing with bed bugs can be. It's causing post-traumatic stress disorder in people. These aren't like having fleas, which some people have, which are really annoying, but you deal with them. Or having ticks in your house even. There's something about this thing feeding on you when you're asleep and then waking up and not seeing it, but having the bites, that is very, very traumatic to people. It causes all kinds of interruptions in their life. And when we go into a place and we understand that, and then we see this, it's very hard because we want to be able to help them, but there's nothing we can do when a place is in this state. So, bed bugs, do they have to carry diseases? No. They haven't been shown to transmit disease. They are shown that they do carry disease. They carry quite a few different pathogens, but they don't transmit them. Why that is, we're not entirely sure. There are a lot of insects that transmit disease. The pathogens or the different organisms that they give to us live in their salivary glands. But with bed bugs, we're not sure if that's the case exactly. We don't know why, but they aren't showing to transmit disease, so that's a good thing. But the average time that people takes for them to notice there's an infestation is 3 months. Okay? These things hide. They don't want to be seen at all. So it's usually about 3 months before that infestation gets to a level that's big enough to where they're kind of hanging out in areas that not hiding as well. Then you're starting to see evidence of droppings and bite marks. It's been about 3 months. So they've become established. Not everyone reacts the same way to bed bug bites, okay? Anyone in here react really bad to mosquito bites? My wife does. She gets just these huge welts. I don't react at all. Okay? Myself, I have to feed a colony, which we brought in here today, so if you want to take a look at the bed bugs, I have to feed them to keep them alive. They're fed through a screen and a little tube. But it takes me about 2 weeks whenever I feed for a reaction to show. So myself, say if I stayed at a hotel that had bed bugs and I never saw them, I could be bit. 2 weeks later, I can be sleeping in my own house, wake up in the morning and have reactions. most common assumption would be, oh, that came from my house. But it could have been from 2 weeks ago. So now one reacts to this thing. Tend to be red, itchy welts that appear next to each other, oftentimes in a line. The reason that is people, they tend to feed in a trough, kind of, like a trough. So they'll line up next to each other and just kind of feed. And if, say, I was laying in bed and the bed bugs, they're thigmotrophic, which means they like to have tactile sense on their body. They don't like to be out in the open. They want something touching them. So they'll line up right underneath, say this was my blanket, right under the edge. And they'll all just feed right along the edge so there's something touching them. And also, too, if we move or they stop getting good blood flow, they'll just move over to the next spot and start feeding. So oftentimes you'll see them in a row. Okay, this is a video time-lapsed of about 7 minutes of a bedbug first